So we're gonna build a driveway apron here. I haven't really decided how far it's gonna stick out yet. I'm thinking around 4 meters maybe. So when I pour this foundation here, all the leftover concrete is laying here under this. This thing I gotta need to remove. So what I gotta do is I gotta insulate under the apron I'm doing. Cause later in the winter I gotta install the sea heat system to this so I can heat it. So if there's a lot of ice build up on this, I am going to be able to heat this to get rid easily of that ice. I don't know, let's start building. Are you gonna start dig this out and we can get started. I gotta go through the pricing and everything later on. It's always interesting. Yeah, so just gotta remember this. So this is the roof water that goes down to the infiltration there. So that pipe is going here. I'm just gonna remember that. So this is the drainage for the roof water and the ground. So there's also a perforated pipe going here. So all the water that's coming from above are supposed to go down in this if it goes down in the ground. So there's good material from the garage there out to here, sort of. I mean, in this is filled with gravel. So I'm gonna scrape off the sand and we're gonna fill this with draining gravel. From this line here, I gotta dig this deeper out to get rid of. So this is pure clay. We don't want that to freeze under the concrete. That is bad. That thing can lift the entire thing. Even though we're gonna insulate it, the cold can still come from the side. So we're gonna fill it with some bigger gravel like this, up to this point, and then we're gonna fill it with finer gravel out all the way, draining gravel. We're gonna do that. So this is the concrete. Then we got the insulation. So I gotta put down, still got some left from doing this foundation. So those are coming there. So this draining gravel we're gonna put up to this point. Then we're gonna put the insulation sheet. And we're gonna put concrete, rebar, and that hose for heating this in this slab here. Gonna calculate how much material I'm gonna need here, so let's see the height. I'm just gonna calibrate this to the lower material level here. Alright, that's the height difference from there to here. So in total around 23 cubic meter of material is gonna get needed here. So let's go get that. So I also do have this material. I can still use that. That is a good material. The little gravel pile there, good material. This is also good. Just a little mix with some fabric, but doesn't really matter. Yeah, and I got that pile there. We go with that material. Yeah, let's go with that. We got boogie down. So we're gonna go with 0 to 90mm. Okay, we're weighing. I gotta fill more with the material I have so I get even up here. Then we're gonna get some 8 to 60 millimeter draining gravel. But I gotta do that the first thing tomorrow. I need to go on some other work so I can afford to finance all of this. But yeah, we will have tomorrow in the next frame. So this material is a little hard now, so I gotta leave the sun to soften this a little bit. So while doing that, I gotta go and get some gravel. Put it down. Oh, Boogie was already down. Forgot to erase that. Okay, so this was a close call here. This thing just went into the ditch. So I just have a meeting with that trailer there. So he asked me if he should tow this somehow, but nah, I called a wheel loader to get here to try to tow this. You can see from this angle here. I tried back up myself, but you can feel the entire truck kind of want to start tipping, so it's kind of soft, this edge. I don't know if you can see the angle, but that thing is leaning quite a lot. I could kind of feel when I when I stopped here how it kind of went back. I'm thinking, since I got full load onto the bed right now, maybe putting a chain here kind of high, so when he pulls, at the same time he pulls this down. Oh yeah, we're gonna try that. Alright, that went way better than expected. So I guess with the big wheel loader like that, it's not really a problem. Let's see if we're close with the height here. So that's the spot. Here it's going up a little bit. Okay, that much. So it's kind of good here. We want to get this completely plain since I'm gonna use insulation. That thing has to lay straight, otherwise, well, it can't be like that. When that's on top, it's gonna crack. So just a little down on all the spots. So the missus want to go to Stockholm over the weekend, so it's Friday now. And the weatherman says it's gonna start snowing from tomorrow, and then it's gonna keep on snowing. Snow mixed rain. So I told her absolutely not. Okay, so it's a few days later now. You can see the lake is completely covered in ice and snow right now. It hasn't been snowing as much as I thought it would. Just a little bit snow coming down here, but it's been quite cold. So that thing has been freezing. But the good thing, this is draining material, so we can still work with this without a problem. So I also got this. So these are heating cables for the concrete. They didn't have the correct length I wanted, so I bought 3 instead. Doesn't really matter. It's still gonna be the same length. It's only meant to be used once. That's why it's rather cheap. Yeah, I gotta go through the pricing later on, what everything costs. I haven't got the bill yet for this, but it's supposed to be rather cheap. So these are just meant for when pouring in cold weather, just to give the concrete a little bit of extra boost, so it starts curing. Otherwise, it's gonna take a really long time before it starts to cure. And also a tarp, if I need to make a roof here. It looks like it's gonna snow a bit now, and then it's gonna start raining. So as long as it's just a little bit of rain, it doesn't matter. But if it starts raining or snowing more, we're gonna need to build a roof. But I gotta level this out to finish that, to get the correct height. And we're gonna insulate this and yeah, start making the frame and doing the rebar. Alright, so this is 0. Then I'm gonna slope it down 5 millimeters per meter. I think that's a good number. Around there now it's, oh, that's perfect. So I'm just checking so it kind of goes down here. Just a slightly touch of down. At the same time, this material is kind of hard adjusting to that kind of precision, so it doesn't really matter as long as it just slightly goes down. So yeah, we will do it better when pouring the concrete than adjusting that. It's easier adjusting that than adjusting this. But it's -10. Oh, it's 15. You got gas, but when it's standing still like this, it doesn't leak. But when you start it, it's kind of start to leak gas there. See, start dripping a lot there. Let's close this and give it some. Well, let's fix that. So I think the thing that was leaking was just this seal on this screw. So that is sitting here on the bottom, holding this cup in. This is kind of hard. Not really sealing it, it should, I guess. Let's replace that with this. Is this too small? Yeah, that's too small. Let's put this on there. So the reason we're going with my small one instead of the big is that the pipe is going here and I don't want to risk cracking that. I mean, that big thing is going, I think it's vibrating down to 50 centimeters while that is going to down to 20. And the other reason is that when using the big one, when it got a lot of sterile material, is that that thing starts plowing, meaning it's pushing out the material instead of kind of just laying it out like this is doing. So I'm gonna go with 4 of these on the width here, and we're gonna make that the form. There's no need to go out all the way to the edge there with the concrete, so this is gonna be the size. Maybe 3 of these in total. Let's see how it looks. Okay, so the darkness is closing in rather fast, so I just covered this up and we're gonna continue tomorrow. I also gonna get my friend here to help out. He gonna bring the rebar and start building just the form for this. It's kind of a simple form. But he gonna do that, and I gonna focus on getting the hose for the coming heat in here. Was about to start with the heating hose there, but I totally forgot. I gotta need to drill 6 holes through the concrete into the garage, and I need a bigger drill than I previously used. So I got yeah, so Grams has a tiny little concrete drill there that I tried last time I wanted to drill a hole in the concrete, so I'm not gonna use that. I'm gonna go with something bigger. Yeah, I gotta go with this. Look at that, I even got Thor's hammer here. He's a little light. Okay, let's go. Okay, so 7-hole. This went a little bit too deep, so I'm gonna use hose 1, hose 2, and hose 3. So I'm gonna put a temp sensor down this hole. I might as well. Kind of fun seeing the temperature that's gonna be. Let's just start going with the hose. So I got 3 separate hoses left over from when building this. Should be enough length on them. Well, let's just keep... We're just gonna try. There. Look there. So we got the meters on the hose. So half of the hose is there, so we can actually see. I was hoping to, well, get there, but I'm not gonna do that. So this one is around the same length, and the radius is getting smaller the more hose we're putting in, so I should get longer with this. I can cover this end too. we're going with the last one here. So if my calculations that I never did is correct, it should be enough going one lap around now. And everything should be covered. Kind of been relying on my luck here. So the distance went a little bit bigger here, just in the middle. But I don't think that's gonna matter. Something I could say though, with this installation I'm doing here, is that I guess you kind of want the water lines a little bit higher. I could put them, so we gotta do double rebar net here. I could put them in the first rebar net to get that a little higher, to get a faster temperature up to the surface. I don't think it really matters. There's one thing if you put it in an electric heating cable. You kind of want to focus that fast heating to the surface, but this is more of a system that's gonna be running for days when I turn it on. I'm gonna see. I haven't done the calculation of how much it's gonna cost to run a system like this. Maybe I can have it on for a few months. We're gonna do the calculations later. So the first layer of rebar mesh is put here now. I'm going to put 2 layers to strengthen this even more. I think the bottom layer is for structure and the top layer is to prevent cracks and stuff like that. So this is 8mm in thickness. The second one is going to be 6mm. So the thing now is that when putting the second layer of mesh is we're going to need a distance for that. And when pouring the foundation for the garage, I use this. I thought I had enough. I do not have enough of this. These are easy to just throw out like this and got a lot of strength just to keep that mesh up. But since I don't have enough and there's no store in the radius of 200 kilometers from here that sells this. So we're gonna have to go with these, the same one we put in the bottom there. The only thing with these are that you want to have them like this. So when pouring concrete, these are getting filled with concrete. So there's no air trapped in this. Yeah. So my friend got a box of this at home, so he went to get that. But the thing is that to get this to sit good here, you need to keep it, oh, well, you need to keep it the wrong way. And you can put 2 zip ties and this will sit put there. If you put it the right way, so this fills up with concrete, well, you can't really get it to sit properly. So yeah, but I still think, I mean, this got a lot of hollows in it. So by having this the wrong way, zip tie stuck like that, vibrating under it, I mean, it's still gonna fill with concrete. So we're gonna have to go with this. Not really a big deal, but I mean, I still got a few of these. Alright, that's all. It's not many that missing. I'm missing like 5 of these, so not really that many.
Ska du några bitar då?
Det här är ju...
Den jag värnar.
Ja.
So this piece here is so we can hang up a tarp. It looks to be a little bit rainy tomorrow, so one change we did is that I'm not gonna use the heated cable here. So I thought about using this to make this cure faster, but it doesn't look to be as cold as I initially thought it was gonna be. So I'm not gonna use that. Since we're gonna put the tarp up here, so we're gonna box this in. Okay, so it's a few hours later now. It's still rather soft. So I'm waiting for that thing to harden a little bit more. Then I'm gonna go on with this. Try that. I never used one of these before, so it's gonna be interesting. I just had this closed, so I opened that, and this nut just fell down. So I didn't think more about that. So I was about to close this again, and then that bolt fell down, and I could hear kind of a rattle coming from the gate here. So I don't know. Hopefully it doesn't gonna fall down now. Let's try getting that with a magnet. Should be strong enough. Well, let's give this a try. Should work, right? That worked fine. Wrong way. So. We got a nut and we got a... This has to be from... Oh, it's probably looks like coming from there. Well, that's not a big deal if it does that. Huh. Well, my blue lift ain't working, so I can't really get up there. So we're gonna leave this for later. You can hear it kind of started to rain. I don't really want to take that down before I've driven with that, because it's gonna be a lot of exhaust in here if I take that down. I could take that up though, but I think I'm gonna need to take that down. It sounds like it's about to pour. So it's 5 hours and 40 minutes since we poured this. Let's wait a few more minutes. I'm gonna remove that now, the rain stopped. So the reason for wanting to use that machine is that you can see the surface right now, how uneven that is. There's still like bigger rocks and stuff like that just on the surface here. So what we want to reach with that machine is that thing is gonna spin around and bring up the concrete sauce. I guess that thing probably have a more suitable name, but I don't know, concrete sauce is kind of speaking for itself. So you want to get this sauce up to make a really smooth finish here. But at the same time, I don't want a completely smooth finish like I have inside the garage. That's probably gonna make it real slippery outside on the winter. So I'm thinking I'm gonna use that machine, getting up some concrete sauce here, and then I'm gonna go with a brush. Alright, so we got some concrete sauce here. I'm gonna give it a try with the brush, seeing if we can get a good pattern here. Yeah, it's 7 hours since we poured this now. Yeah, it's 6 degrees Celsius. It's declining. It's gotta be, at midnight, it's gotta be -1. We're gonna need to cover this when we're done. Let's try with the brush. I don't know, I think it looks rather good. Try this. Okay, so it's getting rather late now. So I boxed in the sides. So I gotta leave that diesel heater to, yeah, over the night. So it's 22 hours since we did the pour. Starting to look rather dry now. You can see some gray spots, but it still needs to cure. So the temperature where I put the temp sensor is 20 degrees Celsius right now. And it's rather hot in here too. I still gotta leave this. I just went here to fuel that up. So it's a little bit over 3 days now. So it's the next day. I covered everything up since it started to rain. So the temperature inside this right now is 7.2 degrees Celsius. Oh, forgot the screws here. So I'm really happy with the result of this. Looking really good. So this is a fix for next summer. Just a little slope so I can get up here. So I already see a lot of things I'm gonna build next year. One thing is that when washing vehicles here, there's been a lot of clay just sitting here, and every time you're going into the garage, you pull that thing with you. So I'm gonna build some kind of mud trap here for the next year. But we gotta leave it as it is right now. Yeah, so the thing here between the apron and the garage floor is that this thing is gonna separate. So that is just so this thing can kind of move on its own if it wants to do that. Not going to do that, not a lot. Maybe small movements between the seasons. So this is able to do that since it's gonna separate from the actual garage. Okay, so for the heating of that apron now is that I'm gonna use the heat pump I have. This is producing cheap heat. Well, first you need to buy a system for close to 2,000 euros, but after you're done that, you're getting some cheap heat. So while we now have cheap heat, I'm gonna use that. I'm thinking I'm just gonna, yeah. So this is going to the floor heating, so I might as well just put lengthening hose on this, going all the way back there. Yeah, so coming down here with the hoses, we're gonna need to have a heat exchanger and then just a manifold connecting these hoses outside. The thing is that my floor heat is pure water. There's no glycol in my system, so I gotta need that heat exchanger so we can use glycol on the outside. So how that works is just that the heated water is coming in the heat exchanger, heating that, which in turn heats the glycol. And a separate pump here is gonna pump out the glycol in this. So we can close the system when we want without risking that to freeze. It's gonna be a future video about that. So we're gonna test that when winter comes, but I gotta order all the stuff needed and, well, we're gonna build this system. So if you're interested about the concrete type and stuff like that, you can press pause and look at this. Okay, so let's go through the pricing of all of this stuff. I don't have any number in my head right now, so I'm just gonna write it out. But we got the concrete, I used 6.8 cubic meters of that. And then we had gravel, in total around 4 loads, since I already had gravel here I used. I'm not gonna calculate in any transport cost or diesel or something like that. This is just pure material cost. And then we have rebar, we have the lumber for the form, insulation used, we have this heat hose used, we have that concrete heating cable I never used. I'm forgetting something. I don't know, but So this is the main material cost when building this. So yeah, but this is roughly the cost to build something like this if you do it yourself and you already have the machines. I'm gonna cover this apron up again just to let it cure under the week and go home and order some more stuff so we can start assembling this.